Alrighty then, a few questions. How does one know if they've got parasites? Well, first of all, every living being and creature does. Right? How do we deal with it? How do we get to the cause? And how can we tell in our daily lives how it's affecting us? So the simple way to do it is one's relationship with sugar in all its forms. Other than fruit, because people say fruit sugars, but hey, it's natural. Inside the fruit, are there parasites? No, not generally, because they've got protective coatings and barriers and mechanisms and ways to do that. Humans, not so much. We tend to, well, especially in the Western world, we tend to take in as much sugar in its various forms as possible, and it's completely unnecessary. But have a look at relationship to sugar in the form of alcohol. Well, first of all, when different environments in the body, especially in the gut and below it, that has a lot of, well, for some of us it's got fire, but if we've got, and we all do, have lots of different creatures and critters, because I've removed thousands, tens of thousands of them, then these things are going to have to, they've got their own ecosystem, they're going to have a chakra system, they have a physiology, an anatomy, and then they also have to excrete. And then they have gases, and formaldehydes and alcohols, and lots of different biochemical things going on. And if we're constantly feeding these aspects of them, but our mind doesn't know that it's there because it doesn't have the nervous system conductivity to get to this particular point, how would the brain know it's there? Simply doesn't. And then, if said critters create an environment when it's cut off from the nervous system due to tension or anything else that's in the body, then it's its own ecosystem. And we feel like we're separating. And then our mind, or people call the ego, is then separating. And separating our perspective away from oneness as much as it possibly can. Because these creatures want their own environment. They'll cut it off, and they'll do it they've had it there for decades and years. It's passed on through generations for thousands of years sometimes. Because all the information is transferred during childbirth. So, let's have a look at the behavioural patterns. It's always coming from and through me, so I have to know it and experience it and get past it before I can understand it and then share it. So the relationship with alcohol is, how many times a day does one need to go for a drink? For most people, it's as soon as they finish work, because work says they're not allowed to drink. If they didn't have this role that they're playing, boom, straight onto it. Guess what's in control? Right. Have a look around at the people around you, our society. Is there any wonder why other cultures have put the kibosh on alcohol? Because the word alcohol, when you look at it in the etymology, the original meaning of the word, especially the one in Arabic, is al-Khul, Khul, is the Arabic word for ghoul, or flesh-eating spirit. Do we want that in our bodies? Manifesting constantly, coming out in behavioural patterns and unable to control our own senses, and emotionally retarded outbursts, destroying relationships and everything around them, because these creatures want self-sabotage, suicidal destruction. That's their goal. They are flesh-eating creatures. Why are people so insecure and they're disconnected from their gut? They have no knowledge. They don't even teach gut health in universities. Because these things are in everybody, disconnecting us from our brain and therefore our spirit, because our spirit's down here. So with our soul is here in the solar plexus and our spirit is here, and if people have got a big huge gut with a fuck ton of creatures in there, then they're unable to control their own behaviour. Yet they think they're human. Most people have got, 43% is the average, according to the British Genetic Council. 43% of inhuman parts of our anatomy and our physiology. That's bloody low. I tell you, it takes a lot of time and effort to get these critters out. It's not easy. You have to get strong. You have to expand the nervous system, which is not easy when people are completely destroying themselves on a daily basis. So, how long does it take your controllers to go for sugar? Hey, some people it's minutes or days unless they're distracted by a roll or something else that they have to do. Otherwise, they're straight onto it. Yeah. I mean, I had a thing with gelato. That's only monthly now. It used to be every day. Because my spleen was depleted and I had critters and stuff in the, especially in the spleen reflex point, that was influencing me to go, oh yeah, I could really, yeah, that. So, the solution is smart sweets. Swap the smart sweets. So, dates, figs, currants, everything iron is generally good, for, especially for pitta people and iron levels. Coconut sugar. It's a poor term, but it's essentially just the coconut nectar from the flower of the coconut dried. Yeah, it's beautiful. It has actual nutrients and value, and it tastes much better. And there's about a dozen different solutions for sweetness. So cutting that sweetness out of our lives is very much the maternal side of the spleen. So if we cut the sweetness out, then, and our iron levels haven't been rectified, and most people have to be constantly on that every day, especially if you've got a lot of energy about you, then we're naturally going to push away everything feminine and maternal, because it's the left-hand side, and it's the controlling essentially feminine and maternal aspects of ourselves. So if we get rid of that, we push women away. We push Mother Nature away. When was the last time your bare feet touched the bare earth? Not so connected with Mother Nature as much as people thought, eh? Because these creatures are here controlling our minds. So they disconnect us from Mother Nature and ourselves and our soul. So, well, now that you're aware of it, it's up to you, isn't it? Choices. Do you want to be in control of your own senses and your own mind? Because that starts here. Not many people on the planet are anywhere near that. Most people are looking up at their sphincter because they've got so much gunk in the bottom half of their body that they're completely unaware of. And they haven't got superb gut health. So, no wonder people can't control their own behaviour. And we have our society matrix just playing roles and completely lack of self-awareness. Why? We've got a lot of fungus and parasites. Garbage in our bodies. Might want to do that colonic irrigation thing, huh? That might be a good idea. So, there you go. Who is in control of your senses and your faculties and your spirit and your soul? Rather than just thinking it, prove it and get it done. Starts here. It's not easy. But it's fun getting there, I tell you. It really is. When you get there, it's heaven on earth, because that's where heaven lives.